Hi everybody, Dr. Darya Ghafourpour here, and thanks again for joining me on this Sunday afternoon, California time anyway, and for another edition of Calling All Dentists. This is my opportunity to share practice building tips with you, and I want to start by thanking all of you who have been in contact with me and have shared your challenges and your comments and concerns, and either by email or we've spoken on the phone or by the comments you've left in the prior videos. I really appreciate it, and it's fun for me to kind of see how everyone's doing out there and what are the different circumstances that we face in our day-to-day dental practice. So I'm glad that you're joining me here this afternoon, and once again you can watch this on the replay, and I will be posting it again to YouTube, so you can find me there. It's been fun watching people find me on YouTube, and it takes me by surprise because for some reason I still don't expect that, even though I'm telling everyone look me up on YouTube. So anyway, this is a fun part of this journey for me, and I wanted to also just start with letting you know again that there is information that you can get from me. If you are on Facebook, you can see the Learn More button that's towards the top of my page, and you can click on that and it will ask you for your email address, and I'll be able to be in contact with you via email. And I have to admit, I haven't been super on top of that, so just be patient with me because it's like you, I'm really busy in my day-to-day life, but this is a fun thing for me to do, and I find it really valuable to stay connected with those in my community. And so if you just be patient with me, I'll step by step get my systems in place so that it will be easier for me to communicate with you online. But those of you who have emailed me individually, I'll definitely continue to respond with you that way. In fact, you can email me at darya@daryadds.com. So that's DARYA@DARYADDS.com. And on that note, with communications, you can also text me at 44222, and if you enter in Dr. Darya, DRDARYA, that also will give you an opportunity to sign up on my email list. And so far it will just be general information, most likely just letting you know when I'll be on live again, tending to be on Sundays for directing towards dentists and dental team members. And I'm also on Friday nights, Pacific time, about 6 o'clock or so. And again, you can find the replays on my page here on Facebook or on the YouTube channel. So if you do also give me your email address by clicking that Learn More, you'll be able to download, and this is backwards, I know, but I've got a checklist that you'll be able to receive via email, and it's got a little bit about me here on my bio too, and I invite you to share that with your staff, with other colleagues, and just as a point of reference for some information that should be helpful for you. So today I want to talk about having huddles, morning huddles before you start your day. And it was really great. I got to connect and speak with one of my former students who was sharing with me about some of the challenges in his day-to-day dental practice life. And it can be pretty overwhelming when you feel like you are at the effect of the schedule. Maybe you're getting backed up because you're overbooked. That can happen in larger practice settings. That can happen for a variety of reasons. You might have more people showing up than what you physically have time for, and then it becomes a struggle because you don't quite know how to get through each moment, and you're feeling stressed. You need to manage your own stress, and you need to manage your team members as well, and hope that everyone can work together as a team. And one of the things that came about in our conversation was that they're not starting off the day with a huddle. And just from my own personal experience, and that's what I share with you here for the most part is my personal experience, super duper helpful to have a huddle in the morning. And I'll tell you, I've felt what it's like to not have a huddle after doing it for so many years, and it's a little bit unsettling. I feel ungrounded, like I'm just kind of trying to keep my head above the water because I'm not sure that my team knows what's happening, and we're not on the same page with one another. And if we begin our day by going through the list of people that we're going to be seeing that day, it just makes life a whole lot easier, because we can perhaps spot issues that might come up ahead of time and then address them when we're sitting with our clipboards and we've got a printout of the schedule. And so personally, what we do in my office is set aside 10 minutes for our morning huddle. And typically this involves sticking to the schedule. Now, you may run your huddles differently or attend huddles that cover topics differently. And there's a whole lot of ways to do it that allows for connection to establish among your team members, and also for greater efficiency. So again, I'm just sharing with you how I run my huddles. And when I don't do it, for, you know, I'll give you an example of a reason why I don't do it a little bit later, when it hasn't happened, but it just makes life a lot easier. So what we do is, and some consultants will recommend that each team member gets a chance to run the huddle and switch turns, and that's certainly an option that you can do. I tend to do them myself. I just find that, you know, we have so much that we need to do to begin the day with. Like, my chairside assistant needs to get the equipment running. We need to get the water lines moving. We need to make sure the trays are present, that, you know what I'm saying? You know, make sure that each chair is set up the way it needs to. And my treatment coordinator is listening to phone messages, checking emails, seeing if there are any changes to the schedule, any openings, opportunities for people who are in pain to come in or who have requested a short notice appointment. So there's all sorts of organizational things and logistical things that need to happen before we meet with our first patient. And so we build in 10 minutes of time specifically to huddle. Sometimes it's compressed. Sometimes we're running behind to begin with. Traffic is usually the reason why, and I wish that weren't the case, but that's usually, if we're not running on time, that's a reason why. Nonetheless, we're pretty good about being able to start with our first patient as long as they're there for us at the time that we anticipated. So what we do is I have my team members holding a printout of this schedule, and then I'm at the computer with the schedule open, so I've got my x-ray program available and I've got my scheduler available, and we go through each person that's going to be coming in today. And of course, to begin with, my treatment coordinator shared with us if someone isn't going to be able to make it, or if someone has requested to come in. And this way we can talk about, let's say to accommodate that person who requests to come in, we can all look together and figure through what is a good time to ask them to come in. So if it's something that maybe my assistant can help out with, then I might ask for that person to be scheduled in the middle of a longer visit that I'm doing with someone else. And that way it's not going to impact the time that I need that assistant to be turning over the treatment rooms. That makes sense. If we ask the person to come in at a junction between one patient and another, then it becomes really, really tight because we need to disinfect everything, we need to turn the rooms over. So that's one thought with when we can accommodate people if we don't already have an opening in our schedule. So that's one thing, is we look at timing of our appointments. And then another thing that we look at is each individual person. So we'll talk about the personality of the person or specific concerns that they've had in the past, anything that any of us in the team remembers about that person that we can share with one another. Maybe it's something that's happened in their personal life. Sometimes we know that a family member has passed away and we want to be particularly sensitive to that person. Sometimes we know that they have a lot of hypersensitivity in their mouth, and so we'll know, let's have the numbing rinse ready for them. Sometimes you know, I can go on and on, but those are examples of things that we'll talk about relating to that individual person. And then we'll look at the procedure itself. And maybe I have a particular request of a type of material I want to have present. So my assistant will be able to take notes and write down that specifically I would like this type of anesthetic. I would like this type of impression material there. We're going to use this kind of impression tray if you know, we have a variety of different options available. So those are examples when it'll help us run a lot more smoothly. So as long as they're paying attention to the printout, to their notes that they took that morning, then, you know, I can expect, and we can all expect, that we'll have things available and ready when I need it. And of course, I'm not going to think of everything at the time, but it's a really good start to our day. So that's an example of like a logistical way that a huddle can be super effective and helpful for us. And of course, it's just kind of a fun way to begin the day too. We can share, we don't typically have a lot of time to share personal stuff at that time, but sometimes we can, and so it's fun to find out how the weekend went or whatnot. So let's see, that's a bit about huddles. Now, sometimes you're going to have open appointment times. And then the question is, how do you handle open appointment times? Because if you do have somebody who's available to come in, thumbs up. All right, someone's giving me some thumbs up. Leave a comment for me if you would. I can't see who you are, but I'd love to have some interaction if you feel up to it. And in any case, speaking of Huddle and speaking of schedules, and if there's open appointment time, what do you do? Because that can be very stressful, right? For a variety of reasons, especially if you're the practice owner or if your paycheck relies upon the productivity. So that's not necessarily the case with team members. Very possibly they're receiving a paycheck regardless of whether patients show up or not. So we all know that the driving force behind our practices is our patients, right? We need to deliver patient care in order to keep that machine running, that machine being our dental practice. And so when there's open treatment time, we want to do what we can to fill that time. And one thing that we do, well, I'll give you a couple of examples of things that we do. One thing is we have a short call list. And when in our ideal world, we're asking our patients who schedule, and they might be scheduling out in advance, we'll ask them, if something comes up sooner, would you like us to give you a call or send you an email or send you a text message? And when they say yes, we add them to a list. And in our particular scheduling program, it enables us to highlight that appointment. So if we're scanning in an overview mode, or if we're clicking through day to day and we suddenly see like a green appointment, that tells us that that person would like a call if there's an opening earlier. And so that makes it really helpful for us to know that on short notice we can refer to a list of people and invite them in sooner. We already have their permission, which makes it easier because they might be expecting a call from us. And another thing that we do, we started doing this, I want to say a few years ago, that's been super duper effective, is we send out emails when we have a last minute opening. And this might be for the same day, it might be for the next day. When people don't know that you have an opening, it's not on their mind to give their dental office a call to say, hey, can I come in? Can I move my appointment sooner? They're not thinking that way necessarily. But if they're paying attention to their emails, then they might receive an email from you that you can use an outside service for, like we do, which enables you to create an email saying, hey, we've got a last minute visit appointment available. If you're able to make it at 2 o'clock today, please give us a call. Or we also have some time tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. These are examples. And we'll also put in there, it's also a gentle reminder, if you've been meaning to schedule with us and you haven't done so for a while, go on and give us a call. We're here for you. And I tell you, almost every single time we get those appointment time slots filled, it's pretty amazing. And inside I think, oh, we must be annoying people. I don't want to bother them. And some people might get annoyed, and then they might let you know, and then you thank them for letting you know that. Thanks so much. I'm going to take you off of that list of people that will contact in case that happens, and maybe they'll just receive your newsletter instead. Or maybe they want to subscribe to only receiving an appointment reminder the day before or the week before, right? You can customize those services. And so for us, it's really helpful to be able to send out a call to those people via email and say, hey, we've got some time available, and if you need to see us, or if you'd like to bump up your appointment, we're here for you. It's amazing how quickly people respond. Whoops, sorry about that external noise there. So, any case, those are some tips that can help you out, and there are a lot of different services out there that you can use. And if you'd like to know which ones we use, you can give me a shout out, write me an email, or leave a comment here, And I'm not necessarily endorsing one or over another. It's just one that we use. And I'm even thinking about checking out other services that are out there. But it's just an idea. So you can, again, just as a wrap-up reminder, you can refer to a short call list. So you might have people who have already let you know they're interested in coming into a short notice appointment, or you can send a call out via email. I know some people will use Twitter, they'll use Facebook, they'll use different social media outlets, and that's a possibility as well. We happen to use the email technique. So, and I tell you again, it really does work, and it helps keep us moving. And so I made reference in the past that I would let you know what was one situation when we might not do a huddle, just backtracking a little bit. And last week, a lot of you guys might realize that here in California, Northern California, we were slammed with some major storms and major flooding happening in our area, and that impacted everybody, including me. My commute was extra long, and my staff members commute extra long, also because of road closures because of the flooding. And so what ended up happening was I ended up arriving at my office the same time my first patient arrived at the office. Oh my gosh. And she was right on time for her appointment, but I was not on time for starting off my day. And let alone the fact that I was there by myself, because of the way that, and as it turned out, it was just going to be two of us working that day, but my treatment coordinator was flooded out. You know, the roads were closed and she couldn't get to me until quite a bit later. So when she did finally arrive, when she was able to arrive, I was already at work and I was trying to manage the calls. I was sitting down with this one patient. I was listening out I had another patient arrive early. I had another one who was calling saying he wasn't going to be able to make it because of the traffic situation, because of the flooding and the heavy rains. And I was so grateful when she did arrive. And we just hit the ground running. Now, a lot of you work that way on a daily basis. And that was really stressful for me. It was not easy because I didn't have time to prepare and go through the entire schedule and have an understanding of what were the different ways I needed to be ready for each of those patients. And I actually didn't even have a chance to listen to voicemail. I didn't even know if the next person was going to arrive or not. I didn't have my full team available at that time because of the floods. And so after a little bit of, she was getting caught up, I was doing the work as best I could, I stopped and I just said, you know what? I called out to her. I said, I didn't even do a huddle with myself. We need to do a huddle together. And so we took just a couple of minutes and we went through the schedule together, and I felt a lot of relief because now I felt grounded and I knew that the two of us were going to be able to work through the day together in the best way that we could. So I feel for you if you're not regularly doing huddles, and I encourage you to find a way to do that. And if you don't own your practice, if you're not the one running the show, please ask the person who is running the show, who is managing the team, to consider doing that. It might mean arriving a little bit earlier in the day. It might mean scheduling the first patient a little bit later, just even 10 minutes. But wow, I think it's really going to improve your efficiency.
Thank you.
All right, folks, I'm getting the cue that it's time to wrap up. And so I'm going to thank you very much for joining me again. And I'd love it if you would leave a comment or share this message with others that you know are going to be able to benefit from it. And again, if you haven't already liked my Facebook page, I'd love it if you'd do that. Or also if you would subscribe on my YouTube channel. And once again, you can text 44222 and enter in Dr. Darya, Darya, and you'll be able to receive a quick checklist that will help you with some of your patient conversions to be able to help your new patients become long-term customers. And there will be more information, more from where that's coming. So thanks again for joining me, and look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.